There is evidence in the Middle East that the oldest homes date back to 6000 BC. Despite changes made to the structures and materials used to build houses since then, the home continues to be associated with happiness and peace. We usually find the people we love most at home, and many of our most treasured memories are intrinsically linked to it.
The home should be a place where people learn to have confidence, to have courage, to have courageous conversations as well as comfortable conversations.
One of the main challenges architects face today is making sure house design and planning are carried out in a humane way. People need spaces where their personal privacy is respected, as well as areas where they can come together with others and share day-to-day experiences.
If it's a place that has a certain generosity to it, a spatial generosity to it, and actually also feels like it has an ambience which is of the place and of its surroundings. So it's actually something, I think, which hopefully reflects your personality, but it's also something that feels like it's of its community too.
The From House to Home International Conference was organised by the Home Renaissance Foundation and held in association with the Fundación Rafael Escola as a response to the growing awareness of the vital role the home plays in satisfying the basic needs of human beings. The conference brought together experts from different disciplines, such as architecture, urbanism, interior design, sociology, economy, and philosophy. The experts examined contemporary trends in house construction and design, as well as urban planning. Architecture's link to humanism and sustainability was also discussed.
The house is where members of the family have their feet under the same table. It's the base of everyday life.
The funny thing about the house is that at one moment it's the most generic of all building types. Most of the world that's built is houses and homes. This is sort of the majority of all buildings. And they are generic. By and large, most people live in houses that they didn't chose before it was built, only afterwards. So the buildings are built with them in mind, but not specifically for them. Yet, once they own it, once they've got hold of it, it's theirs. And it's the most specific thing in their lives. It's probably not quite achievable.
An architect's main challenge is to try and design houses that families can identify with.
So it has this weird quality of being very particular and very general. And as an architect who's really dealing in the very general, thinking about how people will be particular with it is a very fascinating subject.
Piers Goff championed larger houses and buildings that create urban areas with suitable family-friendly spaces. He asserts that the exterior of a house is as important as its interior.
When you've been away, when do you get the sense of coming back home? It's not when you turn the key in the door, it's long before.
If you make a place something that is resolved and has a permanence to it and feels like a home, I think it begins to generate a certain spiritual energy around it, which I think then affects your neighbours and your neighbour's neighbour and so on. So,
architects work towards devising designs that enable easy communication between members of a household. Urbanists conceive harmonious spaces that benefit personal and social well-being. With this scope, Juan Ignacio Vidarte, director of the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao, examined the similarities between houses and museums.
One is certainly this orientation towards the well-being of individuals and community, which is present in both of our institution's mission. The second is the stress on the importance of content beyond the physical structures, whether it's the home in relation with the house, whether in our case is the museum in relation with the building.
The mere distribution of spaces, however, is not enough to transform a house into a home.
What makes a house a home is time. And it's the time that you've had actually in the home, the time you've had to collect the objects around you that maybe have been given to you that have emotional significance to you and to your family. And it's that rather than taking a space and filling it full of furniture that you've just bought all at the same time to look well together, I think, you know, real homes evolve, and they don't just sort of appear overnight.
The concept itself is not a fixed concept. It will be go changing as in connection with the needs of the family. So I think that it is connected with quality of life at home. And in order to have quality of life at home, I think it is important that the family has dinner together with a good meal.
I think that there are several aspects that goes from the externals, meaning more the architecture and the decoration and everything. But I would say that what makes a house to a home is people, the relationships that go on, and also someone taking care of it and making that a place where people can develop.
A house cannot be made a home without the work of a person who is prepared and equipped to carry out this complex task. According to Julia Pratt, work done in the home is of equal value to the work done in other professions and must meet the same high standards. Furthermore, Julia Pratt advocates training for those who work in the home. Skills in nutrition, chemistry, economy, time and management and teamwork are needed to look after the home and those living in it.
I would say the social structure before allowed for this learning at home. You learn from your mother or from your grandmother. Well, nowadays it's much more difficult, but we see already some places where you can learn.
Making a house a home is not an easy task, but the delegates at this conference have shed light on how to do so effectively. Experts discussed how houses could be built to foster the development and well-being of those living in them. They also examined the most effective and sustainable way to make a house a real home. Brooks Home Renaissance Foundation's second thus far is a response to the Foundation's aim to promote a higher recognition of the work required to create homes that contribute towards building a more humane society.